Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Nate Trades channel. We are here with our first video on how to find levels on SPY. So, as always, if this is a video that you find value in, make sure to hit that like and subscribe for more content. So, let's get going. Now, for the big question, how to find levels on SPY. So, we start off with looking at the basics. We look at support, resistance, supply, and demand. We look at the day's high, previous low, previous open, previous close. We can look into gaps, retracements, stuff like that. And then you can even go into the advanced levels like initial balances. We got price of control. We also got gamma exposure, etc. Then we start to step into the next step, which is volume. We start looking at areas where sellers are active, where buyers are active. Where is it in the chart that volume is more traded? Where is it that it's least traded, stuff like that. It's important to look at momentum. Where are we losing momentum? Where are we gaining momentum? So that all comes into effect when finding levels in SPY. Then we start coming into the bigger picture. As you guys know, the S&P 500 is made out of the top 500 companies. So we start looking into the top five, which have the most equity inside of SPY. Therefore, we'll look at stocks like Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, etc. All right, so that's our third step. Our fourth is looking into the indexes and futures. So which ones are these? These are the SPX and the ES mini. So these are the four ways to find levels on SPY. Today is February 27th, and we will be going over how to find levels on SPY. So here we have an example where we grabbed puts at high of day for SPY and we shorted it and ended in profit. But the question is, how did we manage to find this level? So of course we do have a analysis here on SPY itself, but this isn't the only reason we took our put position. We have multiple confirmations that allowed us to choose our investment wisely and enter. So here we go with SPY. Of course, we see a demand, or sorry, a supply on the 15-minute frame, which shows interest in sellers. But you wouldn't have known that this is an exact point where we were going to sell off. Of course, it is the entrance of supply, but it isn't the exact pinpoint. Now, how do we find that level? Now, you can say you can find resistances that show evidence that there may be sellers involved at that price, but here in our SPY trade for today, we don't really see it in the exact chart itself. We do see that we're in a zone of selling, but we don't see that there's interest in that price point specifically. All right, so let's go on to our examples that we just mentioned. Now, first is that basic levels we looked at, that there's a possible sell zone. We don't have really resistance. We look at 401.77 as a possible resistance for rejection, but we didn't approach that today. So we're going to look for now, where is it that volume is coming in at? We step in here, we look at the 5-minute frame. We see that there is momentum lost. We do see a push in buyers at open after selling off. Overall showing us that there's buying interest here, but where is it that sellers are going to have their profit taking occur? And this is, of course, would occur in key levels like a supply zone, which we're in, but we're having evidence that we're waiting on. We're looking at confirmation. So we have our momentum loss. We have about 4 to 5 candles here that show sellers are active at this price range. Therefore, you should be looking to sell, take profit. But there's one confirmation there. We have it on SPY alone that shows that the momentum loss is there. Now let's look for more evidence. Okay. Now, what is step three? We look at individual companies. We look at SPY having the top company being Apple. We looked at Apple broke out this morning with strength from its trend. So if we go on the 5-minute, we still see it. We have a high here, lower high, or higher low, higher low, higher low, and then a break here today where we see a momentum loss again, along with candles showing seller sign. We didn't approach a resistance, so therefore signs of us 100% selling off wasn't really too active here on Apple, although we had evidence of mass seller at this price twice. So that is something to watch out for. But let's look for more evidence. Let's look at Amazon. We come here at Amazon, looks like pre-market high We failed to hit at open. We had somewhat of an open push, but then we sold off immediately where buyers became interested down here, which, as you can see later in the day, has seemed to become a unique spot for volatility and or bouncing. So we'll look at investing. Buyers come in, they push the price up. We see again long wicks, overall momentum loss, but high a day fail. Looks like we broke it, but then immediately sold off and then hit a higher low here twice before completely rejecting. That's another example of a possible momentum loss. And then we go over to Microsoft, where we'll end it off with seeing that there is sellers involved at this price. Okay, so there is a pattern between the top 3 to 4, 5 S&P 500 companies. Now we're going to move on to step 4, indexes and futures. So we go on to ES. Now, what is something that we see here on ES? This is something really key. We see a previous week, which is last week, resistance. We got a reject here. We got a reject here, somewhat a reject here, and a reject here. Overall, 4 rejects showing us that there's another reject possibility here. So an area for buyers to take their profits, causing for a small sell-off, which led to a larger sell-off. So we saw our supply entrance overall, our daily supply. If we go on the daily frame, we'll probably see it. Here we go. We got bounces here, rejects here. Overall, a key level to watch for some seller activity. So we go back onto the 5 minute. Actually, let's go to the 1 minute. Let's look at this level here. We have a chart pattern, which is also part of our basic levels, our basic patterns. These are things that you guys want to know. We have a triple top here. First reject off resistance, second reject, and then third. That pattern right there is a triple top. It is a bearish pattern where we were able to break support of it, neckline, and then fall lower. So that was a third to fourth confirmation based off of ES being another possible area of reject. Now we move to SPX. SPX 4017 key level shown on previous week as well. If we go back here, we see a reject there. We see a second reject there, third here, fourth here, and then of course today is our fifth. So same thing. And of course understanding the price action of each company you are trading, as well as each index and or futures is important as well. So for us to see that triple top occur here as well, we saw mass sellers overall giving us that more confirmation that we needed to take puts and increasing our levels. So that is how we find levels on SPY. It is important as a trader to set some time aside on the weekend and on the pre-market session to try and build up a plan and analysis on what you want to enter and why. So when it comes to finding key SPY levels, it is important that on the weekends and in the pre-market sessions, you have your analysis ready for execution. And for me, I personally always have it on the weekends and in the pre-market sessions. One in the weekends being my newsletter where I have ES and SPX right here and what I'm watching for rejects. And then we come on to Twitter where I also have all of my analysis intraday that I'm watching. And today, as we can see, where we're looking at ES levels for rejects at 4023 right here, where we ended up selling off and shorting. Same thing goes for crowd. Crowd was an amazing opportunity as well. We were able to take some calls. So overall, just preparing for the week is key and highly important. So definitely be aware of that and have that on in mind. All right, guys, that is all for this video. If you guys did find value in this content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, comment down below. And or if you want to see more, let me know. Um, if you guys want access to the daily analysis and weekly analysis, they're all down there. It's all free. It's on my Twitter and newsletter page, which is linked down below. So make sure to check that out. Hope you guys have a fantastic day and learned a lot. See you guys next time.